What's going on, everyone? Happy Thursday to everyone. Hopefully everyone is doing well and having a great day so far. It is time for the Thursday edition of the Weather Update for Thursday, February 22nd, 2024. If you're new to my channel, this is where we do the daily weather update almost every day. We didn't do one yesterday because it's not all that active right now, but we do have to start paying a little bit more attention to what might be coming next week. I'll explain that in a little bit. So if you're new to the channel, want to see the latest weather forecast, or maybe learn about some records that are going on around the world. We're going to be talking about a record right now. Hit that subscribe button down below, gives us a thumbs up, and share this with anyone you know. All right, starting off today, we have to start off in Japan. Not the United States, but Japan. Cherry blossoms. They're blooming early over in Japan. They are dealing with some record heat right now. However, that comes with an issue. The fact that they're blooming early and they're dealing with heat, if any cold weather should come again, they're going to die off rather early. So it's not going to last very long because colder weather could come and impact them rather soon. But hey, cherry blossoms, it's always pretty to see. All right, moving on. Taking a look here at the latest satellite picture. You can see there is a weather system across the Ohio Valley. It is providing some rain and rain showers. A lot of its moisture is going to break up as it heads towards the Atlantic coast. And take a look at this. The sun's out today on the west coast. Yes, it's actually a sunny day in California. Quiet for you. You can actually dry out some. It could last for at least several days. Take a look out in the Pacific. You can see here, not all that active right now. That's good to see. We do note here, well south of Alaska, well southwest of Canada, there is this system that is spinning out there. National radar. You can see here, there are the showers that we were talking about, and even periods of rain across northern Pennsylvania and portions of Ohio and Kentucky. Nothing major at this time, and not expecting any major severe wrecks, although there is a marginal risk on the south side of this. I'll show you that in just a moment. And a whole bunch of nothing today on the National Hazards Map. There is a high wind warning across portions of central Montana, north central Montana. And that's really it. It's really a quiet day across the country. Taking a look at the days 1 through 7 precipitation. A lot of this that you see on here does, in the Ohio Valley, does fall in the short term. But as we head into the longer portions of the forecast, as we head into next week, we will have to keep an eye on for some severe weather that could happen in this region. You also see the Pac Northwest, Seattle, Washington, Washington State, Oregon, Portland, Oregon. Yes, there's another threat of some heavy rain for you. And down the line, you do come into the threat of heavy precipitation across portions of California and the rest of the Rockies and the Four Corners region. So we'll show you that on the models in just a moment. Excessive rainfall forecast. Just a marginal risk across the Ohio Valley today. Nothing major to be concerned about. And now we have to take a look at the severe weather outlooks, and there's quite a few things to talk about here. First off, there's just a marginal risk today across northwest Alabama, northern Mississippi, and eastern Arkansas. Not really much expected out of that. Wind, maybe an isolated case of hail. Then tomorrow, there's a marginal risk across portions of South Carolina and North Carolina. Again, not all that impressive. Wind and hail are the main threats. Going much further beyond, as we head into next week, then things start getting interesting as we head into the day 6 time frame and the day 7 time frame. So that would be next Tuesday and next Wednesday. And you see here, there is already a slight risk from Illinois back through to extreme North Texas, Oklahoma, portions of Arkansas, portions of southeast Kansas, and much of Missouri. That is a severe weather threat that we're watching. Again, that is next Tuesday into Wednesday. And look at this. It continues into Wednesday. Actually, a bigger area that's been expanded eastward for next Wednesday. So this is something we'll have to watch. I'll show this to you on the models. Taking a look now at the latest NAM, you can see those showers across the Ohio Valley. They'll continue east and even in New England and the Northeast. You'll see some showers, maybe a couple snow showers. Nothing major is really expected out of this. And you can see eventually it exits off the coast. And look at this. Another weak little disturbance comes through the Ohio Valley. Again, nothing major expected with that either. And then as we head into the weekend, relatively quiet. It is going to be a quiet weekend across the U.S. Now let's take a look at the GFS. There are several things we have to look at on GFS. One, the severe weather. 2, above average temperatures that will happen for people. And 3, we have to talk about the West Coast as well. Taking a look here, as you can see here, I'm advancing this, coming into the weekend. Again, a quiet weekend. You can see a whole lot of nothing going on across the country. But watch this. Look at this area of low pressure that's up here in Canada. And look at this disturbance that's hitting the West Coast. Yeah, it gets active for you again. That energy starts to come southeast. And ahead of that, there's a strong southwest flow. With this strong southwest flow, let's go over to the temperature department. And you can see here, look at this, 70s into Texas, 70s even up into Oklahoma, across portions of Kansas. And then what happens after that? Look at this, Tuesday, isolated 80s and upper 70s, all the way up into portions of Iowa. Illinois, maybe you may reach the 70s, at least at the very minimum, mid to upper 60s. Yes, I'm including you, Chicago. Mid to upper 60s are coming your way. But watch what happens as I advance this. There's some colder air behind us. That colder air is going to clash, and look at this. Before it does clash, even the southeast and the east coast gets well above average. I think places like Philadelphia next week, you could be talking about a day or two in the 60s, and behind that, some colder air does come in. And you can see how that really clashes southeast. Colder air, warmer air mixing together, that oftentimes can get us into trouble. And indeed, that is what's going to happen. Let's go back to the surface on the GFS. You can see here, as we're looking now at next Wednesday, and I should reverse this, because next Tuesday, late in the night next Tuesday, we have to start watching from Texas on up to Illinois. Some thunderstorms will develop along a front. There's a very strong area of low pressure that's over the Great Lakes. So we have the area of low pressure. You have the warm air ahead of this. And you even have, let me show you this as well. You even have some somewhat impressive dew points. Not very impressive, but it's definitely there. Dew points reaching near 60. But look what happens behind it. They go down to the single digits. That's like a 60-degree dew point drop. So, yes, the mixing in the atmosphere, it's going to cause potential severe weather. And now we've headed into Wednesday. Look at western Kentucky, across portions of Arkansas. These are severe storms for you. Maybe even up into the southern Great Lakes. Those could be severe storms as well, even as we head into Thursday. Late Wednesday night, but first thing Thursday as well. There could also be a severe weather threat in the Carolinas. And with this, what are we talking about? Wind damage, it's possible. Reports of hail, possible. And yes, some isolated tornadoes are possible as well. Should the wind shear cooperate, the instability, it's not going to be all that great. But if there's a ton of wind shear, like there could potentially be with this, it would not surprise me if there's an isolated, stronger tornado. Let's take a look at some upper air dynamics. Let's take a look at the 250 millibar. Let me backtrack. Look at these winds aloft. That southwest wind is going to be screaming from southwest to northeast. So the shear, it's going to be mighty impressive. And this jet streak that this system has to work with, it's mighty impressive. So this is one of the better looking severe weather threats that we've seen so far this year. It's something we'll have to watch. The Storm Prediction Center, again, is already given its slight risk probabilities, and this will continue also possibly into Thursday as well. There could maybe be potential isolated severe storms right along the Carolina coast. Not terribly impressed with that, though. Tuesday and Wednesday will be definitely the bigger days. And we also have to watch, this could turn into somewhat of an antifront, which means moisture on both sides of the front. Moisture on the east side, moisture on the west side, which could provide some snow showers to portions of New England, and of course rain along the coast. This front will clear, but really, behind that front, the cold air doesn't last. Look at this. Let me switch this back to the 500 millibar. Look at this. Another ridge sets in. So we're not talking about any sustained cold air. And that's going to be the case right in through March, and maybe even through middle of March. Yeah, it's going to feel more like spring than March for many locations. And yeah, when I say more like spring, some places it's going to feel as if it's the middle of April, because the cold air, it's just nowhere to be found. You can see here, it tries to come down, but you have this zonal flow underneath or I should say above a ridge. Yeah, nothing impressive coming in the near future. I also wanted to show you this. GEFS. This is the ensemble of the GFS. Look at this. This is showing impressive wind flow and steering as well. So, yeah, this is rather impressive. Definitely the threat of a severe weather event on Tuesday and Wednesday with, again, isolated tornadoes. I think they will be possible. All right, it's Thursday. Taking a look at the drought monitor. We can see here, not too bad across the country compared to other years. We could actually use a little rain, though, in the Four Corners region. Northern Plains, you could use a little rain. You could also use some rain in portions of the Midwest. The East Coast is not doing too bad. A little bit of drought has been introduced now across portions of North Carolina, western portions of New York, but overall, not bad. What we would like to see, though, is we would like to see some snowpack in the north. We're not seeing that right now. That's bad news. So a lot of this drought that you see on the map, as we head into the spring, as we head towards summer, this could really start to expand unless the pattern becomes more favorable for wet conditions. And right now we're not seeing it. Let's take a look at the Climate Prediction Center. Well, the Climate Prediction Center shows well above average temperatures generally east of the Rockies, slightly below average in the west, and those above average temperatures will peak in the northeast. You can see here, slightly above average precipitation in the northeast along the east coast, slightly below average in between in the plains. That's not a good thing. I think drought's going to expand there. Above average in the west coast, 8 to 14 day temperatures, below average in the west. Well above average in the east with a maximum over the Great Lakes, right in through the northeast. There's no signs of cold air whatsoever. Nothing impressive. Anything that comes will be very short-lived. Precipitation, just slightly above average across much of the country, though near normal across the Four Corners region. And again, you could use the rain right now, so this is not good to see. And the wettest place looks to be, yet again, California, in through the Pacific Northwest. Alrighty, guys, that does it for today's weather update. We'll have another one again tomorrow. If you enjoyed this update, give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more content like this, subscribe to my channel down below. And, of course, share this with anyone you know. Thanks for watching, and have a fantastic Thursday afternoon. See you all again tomorrow.